Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm here with Priscilla Ariana. She has just put out her second single called Violet Hour, and I am super excited to talk to her all about it. Priscilla, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you for having me, Austin. This is amazing. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
you're very welcome. Let's hop right into it. First thing I want to say is I'm loving the single. I want to dive into the lyrical content on it.
Mhm.
If you could just please give a background on what it's all about, that would be super helpful.
Of course. So, coming to terms with this song, it's definitely Violet Hour is sentiment to an awakening. 100%. It's like it's empowerment, but not in the way I grew up with very powerful women in my life and like my mom and countless others. It wasn't like a lack of empowerment and like mentorship in that way, but I feel like it was becoming 20. And it was just like, whew, like life is beginning. And like yeah, I feel like I know who I am and I'm pretty confident with where I'm at, but I don't really feel like me. Like, I feel like I'm just shy and I'm still embodying this childlike person. And this night when I was like I feel like in the bridge it says opinions mean well after they are filtered or they just avoid keeping you from what's yours. A lot of people can tell you so many different things, and politics or family or your friend issues or everything. It can get so personal, and you can love these people's opinions and just filter them. Filter them so you don't say these people's so you don't just talk through different pitches, because I said opinions mean well after they're filtered, or they're just a pitch
Yeah.
that is yours.
Do you
Because you
feel
just
that writing this song in particular kind of like took a weight off your shoulders in a way or helped to like clear your conscience potentially?
definitely, I feel like it was a jump start to this next chapter of my life. I'm like becoming a junior in college, and that's just scary. And I'm leaving soon. I'm like already halfway there, and it's just like it's now or never. And it's all passion. Like before, like you can get people talking to you, Priscilla, why aren't you doing music? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing that? It's like I am a human first.
Yeah.
I have mental health is like everyone, and it's just things come as they come, and you need to believe in that. You need to believe in yourself, because you're not going to get anywhere unless you have passion, and just to know that and know that you're not going to be at your 100% grind, because you can find yourself, you can find your best self. Doesn't
Sure.
mean you're going to stay there. It's okay. You're like a flower. You like wilt, and
Yeah.
then you grow back up
Impossible.
again, and you wilt, and then you grow back up again. And
No one can get 100% all the time. It comes in waves. And I think that's just like being an artist and kind of getting that out. It definitely has to feel good at a time. And obviously, you're young and you're figuring things out still, but the music side of things surely has to help.
especially writing, it's therapy,
Yeah,
everything comes out
absolutely.
right there. And especially with flow writing and all these other types of writing I do.
Right.
um,
Yeah, I really want to talk about the production on this song, mainly
mhm.
because it is so crisp, it is so clear, and the horns on it really like elevated it to the next level. I wasn't expecting it,
Mhm.
but like you're kind of hitting all these different genres, but it's just like no, in the best way possible. I know that wasn't really a question, but I really just kind of want to hear like how the song came
It's a
about.
funny story.
Yeah, I
It
figured there
was
was something behind it.
yes. So I mentioned this a little bit in my blog, but pretty much this song started out, and I was working with Nick, this producer, um, and his name is like THRTN. I'll send it to you later. You can like
Yeah.
tag him. But I was working with Nick, and I just noticed like a little bit after, it was just so pop. This track that we've developed together was just so pop, and I was just like, I am noticing this flavor of Amy Winehouse in my voice, and Lady Gaga, and all of these soulful, passionate, and Christina Aguilera, imperfect singers that just go by soul. And I'm not like every birthday kid that's like all like I know like the circle of fifths, the back of my hand, and like all of these things. Like I don't
Oh,
like just
exactly
go
what
onto
you're
a
talking
piano
about.
and freak out. No, my music is all from the soul. That's what makes it genreless. That's what makes it
Right.
so like odd. But I think that that's the coolest part of it because it's only
Yeah.
growing and getting better. You know, like with
Right.
that.
I was going to save this question for a little bit, but I kind of want to expand on what you're saying. So it has a bit to do about your process. And what I really liked about this song the most is that it really broke the mold of a normal song structure. It didn't go verse, chorus, verse. It more turned into like an experience, like a listening experience, where it started and then it finished, and there wasn't like step one, two, three. It just flowed.
Hmm.
What was the process behind making it? I know that's a broad question, but like it really like broke the mold, which I love.
So that's just something I've always done. I started songwriting probably in fifth grade. When songwriting, I didn't really know anything about it. I only started studying songwriting last year. Like I didn't you so you go back to where you have the best sort of writing for yourself. Like you go back to your roots. I feel like whenever you write a song, no matter how much you want it to be just like perfect and up to structure, when I write, it just kind of melts out of me. And I just kind of like I can be like crying, like bawling my eyes out and just writing and writing. And if like that becomes a structure, so be it, because I just put it onto a beat and I have fun with it that way. I keep in mind structure. I sorry, I live on a busy street. So I love structure so much. Like I love my songwriting classes. I love my teachers. But and I keep that in mind. I just do a little bit of both. I kind of just like there's some structure there, and there's definitely some pre-chorusy stuff. But I would definitely need to explain it to a Berklee kid if they looked at my music. They'd be so confused, which is.
Sure. But like,
But
what
yeah, it's
comes
just
first
soul.
for you? Is it always the songwriting that comes first, or is it a
Both.
beat in your head?
That's what makes me weird too. I do both.
Okay.
So when I write, I have a melody in my mind that I'm like singing along with too, and then I kind of just break it down, go into a beat on YouTube, search millions, and start there. And then I send it to the producer, and we come collab together, and then they have to deal with my crazy ass. So,
Well, what artist isn't a little bit crazy, you know? I think that whatever you want to call crazy fuels to the amazing music, in a
hmm
sense.
until you're a micro analyzer.
Yeah, until you turn into
Make
Kanye
messes.
West.
Mess. Yeah, you like create like a mess when there was no mess, and like no actual like other ear would notice. So,
Well, I think
I
that's
get
being too close to the situation. Because you're hearing the song, like a normal person would hear the song 1 to 10 times. You're hearing it hundreds of times and overanalyzing and micromanaging yourself. And you have to be sort of losing your mind a bit trying to get
true.
it perfect when perfect doesn't exist.
Well, after like 3 6-hour sessions,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go ballistic a bit, and I love it. It kind of just has me be grounded and have to like make choices for myself because I'm really bad at that. I'm very particular, but it usually just goes like this where I add all these harmonies and I Ariana Grande it up and I do all of this stuff and then I throw it all away and then I like it. It has to be that process and it makes no sense.
It can't be the
Like
first
you have to
recording.
do you have to overdo it and then underdo it. You have to just do all the craziness because there's going to be like some things from there that you like and then the other things you delete.
Well, now we got to say
So,
release the demos. We need to know what we're missing out on. Are you kidding me?
oh my goodness, yeah. It's so much fun in the studio just being with Rambo and like he's been like my producer since I was in a senior in high school. So I've been working with him for a long time.
So when you're in the studio creating this, is there any specific artist or band or something that you're sort of channeling in order to either make it your own or take inspiration from?
Oh, for Violet Hour particularly,
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do a little bit of Etta James over there.
Ooh,
I want to do a little bit of
okay.
Christina over here. I'm very like, I'm bringing out burlesque vibes because this song is all about
I got that feeling. I had that in my
empowerment,
notes too. Burlesque.
burlesque vibes, very sultry, very. It's. I forgot what the question was. I'm so sorry.
Question was really, who are you channeling?
Oh, I'm channeling. Yes, you
Who are you
definitely.
inspired by?
Amy Winehouse, Elton John, like those are my like the Beach Boys, the freaking Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys. Like those are like my top ones that I always and like and Etta James. I'm definitely channeling them because I love the old stuff. I don't really listen to a lot of pop stuff unless I'm like making a TikTok where I have to. I
Yeah,
love.
I mean that's totally reasonable for just like today's day and age. I don't blame you on
Yeah,
that.
I'm just always listening to the funkiest things. It's always like whatever my brothers listen to, where it's um, like Welcome to the Black Parade, like
I'll sing
random things just all the
the
time.
rest of my life. Okay, here's sort of the obvious question here, as this is your first official single release of 2021 and your second overall.
Mhm.
What hypothetically is the next year looking like for you in terms of just like songwriting, music releases, and a loose plan?
A loose plan is lots of grind time. I
Yeah.
am planning like more than I ever have in my life, and I've never been so excited in my life. I'm working on already. So there's this one called Home, which I'm working with Berklee friends, and then that'll be coming out soon. I have Rebel coming out in October, which is going to be very Halloween esque, very badass, like bad energy, like um, so many things. I like we could do another interview for that.
That's cool.
And then another one that it's like electro pop, which is like I'm just
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask a follow-up about are you going to be looking to experiment in sound, but you kind of answered that for me.
I'm so
And I
sorry.
say, good. No, don't be sorry. No, that's good. And the reason is like there are so many artists these days that stick to the same sound. We sort of touched on you hitting all the genres in this song. And
Mhm.
it's nice to experiment. Like, you're young, I've said that, and you're experimenting.
Mhm.
You're going to find a sound for yourself and you're going to figure it out.
Exactly. And there's no rush. I can
No.
still be figuring it out for like the rest of my life because
Yeah,
I'm that in particular with my sound. Every song has its own story. Every story has to be told differently.
right. Yeah, some things just have different sounds to them.
Yeah.
It's as simple as
Exactly.
that. Now, you
Exactly.
had mentioned that you started sort of songwriting back in fifth grade, was it?
Hmm.
Okay. So, one, that's amazing. I don't even know what I was doing in fifth grade, putting songs together. Were there any like specific artists or even a specific album that you heard back then that sort of like sparked the decision for you? You're like, I want to make music. Something that had such a profound effect that you're like, I don't want to be a firefighter or a nurse. Music is it.
Okay, so there's
Great.
two stories. So I grew up. My uncle is a beach boy, and so I grew up being on stage with
Oh,
him,
cool.
and that, like just seeing a crowd in front of you since you were born, one time a year, one time a year.
Yeah.
I go off on that one time a year. I make that stage my own for Barbara Ann. Like, like, so that really, like, I wanted one day, I just always imagine 17,000 on me. And just the excitement of having all these people knowing your songs and being in sync with you. Like, that's the dream. That is the dream.
Dream.
And then another one is back around the same time I went to Best Buy with my dad and got the Burlesque CD. I was way too young for it. I
Sure.
got very love that. That's where like I was belting at like 12, like Bound to You, like and Tough Lover. And my other story is Little Mix. Little Mix was a really big band for me back then. I remember when I sang Change Your Life. Oh, yeah. It's like super big riff that Perry Edwards does. And I belted it at recess with my friend Maggie. I don't know how I remember
That's
this.
amazing.
I belted it at yeah, in the at recess with my friend, and she just went and was like, was that you? And that was like
That
my
was the end
first
of
like
it.
ever like songwriting like friend, and we always made music together, and she was just like so astonished, and that's where I was just like, just
Um,
never stop loving. And it music comes. I remember my friend telling me this, like, it's just a cute but sad quote. Like, artists are artists because they have to be, like, because music is something they have to do.
sure.
You know, like, not everyone has a perfect life, and artists just happen to be those who their therapy was literally music. So
Yeah. But
it
it's
started
nice that
it
you,
started young for me. That's why I started
oh,
writing
that's great.
early.
No, there's so many people that don't really discover what they want to do until way too late in their life out of fear that they're going to fail, or they
Mm,
just don't think that they have it in them when they really do. So I think that
mm.
it's great that you made that realization so long ago.
It's still hard. It's still hard to keep that, but I already know, like, once go down that rabbit hole, there's no going back, and there's no point. There's no point. I have passion for what I do. I have love for what I do in every aspect, and that's all that matters. It's just continuing doing what I'm doing, and just for
Yeah,
the sake of passion and love, and that's all that matters. Like, that's
I
it.
agree. I fully agree. So now that you've gone from start to finish in the entire process of the songwriting, the production, even like the marketing part of it, is there a single thing that you enjoy the most about the entire process from start to finish?
Hmm. I can tell you the thing I hated the most was finishing it.
Okay.
Because there's always more to be done. That's like my biggest thing. Um, my favorite part, probably just finally putting everything in my head to words. I feel like that's just one of like the most critical thinking thing to do on your own, is to
Sure.
just self-diagnose yourself with poetry.
Right.
But I love it when that starts clearing up and you go through drafts and drafts and drafts, and then finally
Like
you look
that.
at those words and they come back at you and they're reflecting.
I like that. So, okay, so I know that you've only released a couple, but I know that there's way more on the way. So maybe this is a future question, but do you feel that there's like an overarching message that your music says about you as a whole?
Be your best self and be the most extra you can be, because why the hell not? You are a beautiful person. I just want to hear more of you and more of your laugh. And I dealt with a lot of bullying growing up, and I'm just so over women breaking down women, like men breaking down women, everything and all above. Like, I don't. Well, my main thing is just to, I guess, to make my younger self happy in that way, just to be there for the people that remind me of who I was.
But it sounds like you're on the right path to doing that, right?
Hmm. I'm trying, but also just by just making people just go into a trance and just take them
Totally,
away for a little bit.
totally. So aside from the music for just a moment, we are like more than two-thirds of the way through this year, which is wild. Are there any personal goals that you've set for yourself, either at the beginning of this year or you still, want to accomplish by the end?
I want to start therapy. I definitely want to start there. Other things, I'm definitely focusing on myself more and doing more in the sake of activities and dance classes and getting my mind straight, and not being just not having time to put myself down, and not like I'm doing enough. So I'm always just keeping myself busy but doing things that are fun.
Yeah.
Yoga, horseback riding, I love to do.
Yeah.
Like, dance classes, I just started. I went to my second one. It was terrible, but you know what? It was so much fun, and
What
just to put
kind?
yourself out there and look like crazy in front of all these people, but just people that they don't care. Like, that's the thing. Like, people don't know is like nobody cares, and As long as you're doing the best for yourself, because all I was doing then was just getting in my head, but it teaches you something. Everything teaches you different things, and it's just having lots of experiences and being motivated and working on myself in healthy ways is definitely just part of my goals. I was just in the hospital, so I'm working on it a little extra more.
Good. Well, yeah, I'm glad I asked. Like, let's set those goals. Let's hit them. We got
Yes,
like almost
of
3 months
course.
left of this year, so let's get to it.
Exactly.
It sounds like you have a lot of friends that are also making music. So, one thing I want to know, just because we're always trying to shout out independent artists,
Of
is there
course.
any one of your friends that you'd like to shout out because they're doing big things? And also, what have you been listening to in your free time?
Oh my God. Okay, so I can answer like that with like two people at the same time. But I know that's gonna be kind of
Awesome.
cringy because me and
No,
my
bring it up.
but the Thistle Bros like all the way. Like
What
they
was
are
it?
like Thistle Bros. It's whistle
Crystal
with
Bros.
a T.
Okay.
And so they're brothers. They're like the sweetest boys ever. And I've been listening to them nonstop. And there's a song called Afford that just like melts your heart. And I just can't stop getting it out of my head. Like
Okay.
it's still going. And Kayla Earhart, Jordan Kenzie is one of like she's country. Kayla's more R&B. And then oh my goodness, I'm like
I
blanking
think
out.
we've covered Jordan. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Jordan
Like
Kenzie?
nine, is it Jordan with a Y?
Yes.
Like 99
He's
point.
my bestie.
That's awesome. Yeah, we definitely have.
That's awesome. I had no idea. But yeah, that's only a few.
That's
But
okay. There's
those are
no
my.
wrong answers here. I love that. All right, Priscilla, I have one more question for you, and it's something that I like to end all of these with. Basically, the question is for the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that is going to listen to your music for the first time, what is an opening message that you would like to say to them as they enter into the world that you've created?
Social media is just social media, and I'm not who you see that's there. And there's so much more to me that you're ever going to see that you will only see in time. And with things like this, where I can actually speak and not have to pose, because yeah, that's sorry, that was kind of an explosion of emotion, but
I've heard it all at this point. I love it. Because
yeah,
really, though, like people hear your music and they don't know you. Like your friends and family will listen and they'll make those connections. But for the random person who ends up finding you and listening, you're just another person. So it's a nice insight into your life when they actually listen to the lyrics.
yes. And I definitely just want to keep on doing things like this, where there's like Instagram lives, and get out of my shell and start doing those and
Totally.
get more communication with the audience.
Yeah.
But this was definitely a big step for that, and you're helping me, Austin. Thank you.
See, this was totally casual, totally chill. Priscilla, thank you so much for your time. This was a great conversation.
Oh my
For
lord, thank
everyone else out there, Violet Hour is out. Listen to it, stream it, follow along.
and
Big,
DM me and let me know what you think, because
yeah, let me
I'm
know.
very symbolic with my messages sometimes. So if it makes no sense to someone, I'm like, how does it make sense to you? Like, how do you see it? Like, I'm always interested in that.
And
And I
you
know
can be
even
like
if
one of
it's
those
gonna my
transparent
story.
artists that if someone has positive or negative feedback, let you know. And just
Yeah, I love it.
don't be mean.
That's my first thing I ask. Even if I get an audition, like if I get a part to an audition I'm auditioning for, I'm like, how can I do it better?
Yeah,
It's like always, even if you don't get it or if you get it, just always ask. Like, is there anything that I should learn from this?
exactly. Got to be open to those things.
Always.
Priscilla, thank you so much again. I sincerely hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will talk soon.
Have amazing time in Bulgaria.
Thank
And
you.
I hope to yes, I hope to speak again too
All right,
next
take
time.
care.
See you.
Bye bye.
Thank